So, welcome to Indian Council of Medical Research online prescribing skill course for the Indian medical graduates. I am Dr. Krishna Pandey, and today I am going to talk about the module which is entitled Visceral Leishmaniasis and Post-Kala-Azar Dermal Leishmaniasis. After viewing this video, please answer 5 multiple choice questions on this module. You will find this in the assignment section. So this is an elective module on visceral leishmaniasis and post-Kala-Azar dermal leishmaniasis. The next slide, please. So what will you know? When to suspect, how to diagnose, how to treat, when and where to refer, and what do you know previously regarding this? Now this is a case scenario. A 20-year-old male patient with weight of 50 kg coming from Muzaffarpur, which is an endemic district of Bihar, with presentation of fever of greater than 2 weeks duration. He was treated by a village quack with antimalarials and antibiotics. The fever did not respond and he had weight loss. He had protruded abdomen also. On examination, the patient had fever of 102 degrees Fahrenheit with blackening of the skin and pallor. He also had hepatosplenomegaly. Next one. So how to diagnose this case? He was subjected to RK39 strip test, which was positive. He was considered as a case of Kala-Azar and admitted in the ward for confirmatory diagnosis and treatment. The following investigations were performed: complete blood count, renal function test. This included serum creatinine and blood urea nitrogen, liver function tests, SGPT and alkaline phosphatase and serum bilirubin, a chest X-ray PA view, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. The blood picture showed pancytopenia with slightly raised SGPT. Other reports, including prothrombin time, were normal. He was subjected to splenic aspiration, which showed LD bodies after GIMSA staining under microscope. The patient was thus confirmed as a case of visceral leishmaniasis. So what treatment was given? He was given a single dose of liposomal amphotericin B, 10 mg per kg, and the total dose, as his weight was 50 kg, was 500 mg in 5% dextrose, and it was given over 2 hours. The patient became symptom-free and discharged on 3rd day with an intimation to report on 30th day. He came back on the 30th day where all the investigations were repeated. Bone marrow aspiration was done as the spleen was not palpable. All the blood parameters improved and there was no visceral enlargement. His bone marrow became negative and he was now considered to be cured of Kala-Azar. So with this case scenario in mind, this is the brief introduction of the subject. Kala-Azar, which is also known as visceral leishmaniasis, is a slowly progressive indigenous disease which is caused by a protozoan parasite genus Leishmania. In India, Leishmania donovani is the only parasite. The parasite resides in the reticuloendothelial system and hence in the spleen, bone marrow, and liver. PKDL is considered to be a sequel of visceral leishmaniasis, in which LD bodies invade skin cells and develops there and resides and manifests as dermal lesions. PKDL acts as a reservoir of VL and hence can lead to epidemics. So what are the specific learning objectives? At the end of the training, the learners will come to know about the National Kala-Azar Elimination Program, the epidemiology of the disease, case definitions of VL, PKDL, HIV, VL, and cutaneous leishmaniasis, clinical signs and symptoms of the VL, PKDL, HIV, VL, and CL, diagnosis and treatment of VL, PKDL, and CL cases, treatment of co-infection, and writing of prescription. Next one. So this is the National Kala-Azar Elimination Program. This was given by the Government of India, which launched a centrally sponsored Kala-Azar control program in the endemic states in 1990 to 91. The Government of India provided drugs, insecticides, and technical support, and the state governments provided costs involved in implementation and activities. And these are being run through the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program under National Health Mission. The main target is to reduce the incidence of Kala-Azar to less than 1 case per 10,000 population at the block level. So what are the strategies which are involved in the National Kala-Azar Elimination Program? The target has been fixed to December 2021, and it involves early diagnosis and complete case management, integrated vector management and vector surveillance, supervision, monitoring, surveillance, and evaluation, strengthening capacity of human resource in health, advocacy, communication, and social mobilization for behavioral impact, and intersectoral convergence, and program management. Now, coming to the epidemiology of the disease, almost 90% of the global visceral leishmaniasis cases reported from 6 countries, namely Brazil, Ethiopia, India, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. Globally, 9 to 1.3 million new cases and 20 to 30,000 deaths occurred annually. In Southeast Asia region, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Nepal are the endemic countries. Incidence of 1 lakh new cases each year. In India, there are 4 states which are mainly affected: 33 districts of Bihar, 4 of Jharkhand, 11 of West Bengal, and 6 of Eastern Uttar Pradesh. An estimated 165.4 million population are at risk in 4 states in India. Bihar alone accounts for greater than 70% of the Kala-Azar or the VL cases reported. Mortality has reduced from 90 deaths to nil deaths since 2016 onwards. So what are the transmission factors? The vector is the Phlebotomus argentipus or the female sandfly, and the causative agent is Leishmania donovini, which has got 2 stages: the amastigote stage in human beings and the promastigote stage in sandflies. Man is the only known host in India, and the incubation period is particularly very, very long. It can start from 10 days up to about a year. Now, what is the case definition of visceral leishmaniasis? There are 2 case definitions: suspected and confirmed. A suspected case is that person who is coming from endemic area with history of fever of greater than 2 weeks duration, with enlarged spleen and liver, and not responding to antimalarials and antibiotics. The confirmed case is all the above with RK39 positivity and confirmation of LD bodies by microscopy in splenic and bone marrow aspiration. So what are the symptoms of Kala-Azar? There is recurrent fever of greater than 2 weeks duration, loss of appetite, pallor, weight loss, weakness, hepatosplenomegaly, dry skin with grayish discoloration, and severe degree of anemia. Next one. So how do you diagnose? The rapid screening test, and this is RK39. This is the method of choice even in the field for diagnosis of visceral leishmaniasis. However, there are false positivity in cases of RK39, and it could occur in cases of tuberculosis, malaria, and even in pregnancy. The false negative RK39 can occur in HIV Leishmania co-infection and poor immunity. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of RK39 strip test? The main advantages are that it requires only 1 drop of blood. There is a rapid test occurring. The results can be visible in 10 minutes. No special setup required. Reliable with a very high sensitivity of around about 96%. And also a rapid diagnostic tool for PKDL as well. The main limitation, however, is that it has to be stored between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. And it can last up to several months. It is not recommended for HIV VL co-infections and not useful to assess cure, relapse, or reinfection. The other laboratory diagnosis investigations include confirmatory diagnosis is made by parasite demonstration in the spleen and the bone marrow. However, splenic aspiration has to be done with a technical hands, and it requires prothrombin time, total blood count, bleeding time, and clotting time, which needs to be monitored. A patient may bleed to death in case of faulty puncture. As you know, spleen is a storehouse of blood. About half liter blood is almost stored in the spleen. So this is the long list of investigations which we can do. RK39 is highly sensitive and specific. The splenic aspiration has got a sensitivity of greater than 95%. Bone marrow aspiration 53 to 95%. Lymph node aspiration in 20 to 35%. It is not seen in India, mainly in Sudan. And polymerase chain reaction, of course, it requires trained personnel and very sophisticated laboratory setup of 91 to 100%. And another setup which is known as loop-mediated isothermal amplification technology, which is another very highly sensitive and specific technology for diagnosis of visceral leishmaniasis. So what is the treatment of Kala-azar? As per the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, the liposomal amphotericin B is given in the dose of 10 milligram per kg body weight as a single dose by infusion with 5% dextrose. Miltefosine orally for 28 days. Now, miltefosine has got a schedule which is to be given for between 2 to 11 years, 2.5 milligram per kg per day, greater than 12 years, less than 25 kilo, 50 milligram per day, 25 to 50 kg, 100 milligram per day, and greater than 50 kilo, 150 milligram per day. Amphotericin B deoxycholate 0.75 to 1 milligram per kg by infusion in 5% dextrose daily or on alternate days, 15 to 20 doses. Paromomycin injection, this is another armamentarium which has been added for the treatment of Kala-azar, although it is not available in the program. The dose is 11 milligram per kg body weight IM for 10 days. So what are the side effects of the drugs? Amphotericin B, is a Pauline antibiotic, and there is nephrotoxicity, hypokalemia, gastrointestinal side effects like severe rigor, fever, and chills, which can occur after infusion. Paromomycin, as you know, is an aminoglycoside like amikacin, and it has nephrotoxicity and ototoxicity. Miltefosine, the only oral available preparation which is available for visceral leishmaniasis these days, is causing diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, raised ALT and AST, raised serum pancreatitis, which is quite rare, and I have reported a case of acute pancreatitis with miltefosine. Miltefosine has eye toxicity as it gets deposited in the retina and can cause blindness. Recently, I have reported a case in Brazilian Journal of Tropical Diseases on this. And what are the contraindications of miltefosine? It cannot be given in pregnancy because it is an anti-cancer drug. Women who are at risk of becoming pregnant, breastfeeding, age less than 2 years. It has got a long half-life of 7 to 10 days, and women taking contraceptive should continue the contraceptive during and 2 months following end of treatment. Now coming to post-Kala-azar dermal leishmaniasis, which is a sequel of Kala-azar, it acts as a reservoir and poses a major challenge for those who aim to eliminate visceral leishmaniasis across Southeast Asia by 2021, which has been given by the Government of India and by the Honorable Prime Minister of the country. The suspected PKDL case is a Kala-azar endemic area, patient coming from a Kala-azar endemic area with multiple hypopigmented macules, papules, plaques, or nodules who are RK39 positive. Now, a macule, as you know, is an area of depigmentation. Papule is an area which is raised above the surface of the skin. And plaques or nodules are rounded structures which contain a lot of parasites. And these have to be RK39 positive. Only then you can suspect a PKDL case. Of course, the main differentiating point is tuberculosis, leprosy. In leprosy, the lesions are anesthetic, whereas in case of PKDL, they are sensitive to touch. A confirmed PKDL case is from a Kala-azar endemic area, and we do a slit skin smear or biopsy where we demonstrate the parasites. PKDL can occur within 6 months to 2 years after treatment of VL. However, in 20% of the cases, PKDL can occur without prior history of VL. What are the signs and symptoms? Early hypopigmented macules, usually less than 1 centimeter on face, papular lesions, which I have already described, diffuse nodular lesions after a period of months or years, and erythematous lesions, which are redness of the face and body with scattered plaques and papules, predominantly over the face and the trunk. What is the diagnosis? How do you diagnose? Suspected cases of PKDL should be screened by rapid diagnostic RK39 and clinically. Slit skin biopsy is the gold standard for diagnosis of PKDL. The PCR, the qPCR, and the loop-mediated isothermal amplification technology, which is again highly sensitive and specific, but requires trained personnel and sophisticated laboratory equipment. The treatment, there are 2 drugs which are in the program. Liposomal amphotericin B 5 milligram per kg per day by infusion in 5% dextrose 2 times per week for 3 weeks for a total dose of 30 milligram per kg. Miltefosine 100 milligram orally per day for 12 weeks, and amphotericin B deoxycholate 1 milligram per kg over 4 months, 60 to 80 doses IV. The third amphotericin B is highly toxic. So miltefosine at present is the standard treatment, with liposomal amphotericin B coming a close second. I have compared in a paper in which I have compared the liposomal amphotericin B with miltefosine recently, this year itself in 2021, and miltefosine was found to be much better as compared to liposomal amphotericin B. Now, these are some of the pictures which we have gathered from our institute itself. The red areas, the red in the second picture, they are erythematous plaques, and on the left side you have multiple nodules over the face. Now, this is a slide which is showing HIV leishmania co-infection. HIV leishmania co-infection has important clinical, diagnostic, and epidemiological implications. Greater than 1,000 cases of HIV leishmania have been reported from 25 countries. However, in India, it is still not a very serious problem. Of course, we do have a record of around about 250 patients. The two diseases are mutually reinforcing. All co-infected patients are not symptomatic. Investigations like RK39 may be falsely negative. HIV-BL has got very serious epidemiological implications, particularly for the Kala-Azar elimination program, as these cases tend to be super spreaders. All co-infected patients are not symptomatic. Investigations like RK39 may be falsely negative. Then only the diagnosis can be based on the splenic and the bone marrow aspiration. The response to treatment is poor and relapses are very common. CD4 count monitoring and a highly active antiretroviral therapy or ART must be continued. The treatment is liposomal amphotericin B 40 mg per kg body weight at a total dose of 5 mg per kg daily or intermittently for 8 doses on days 1 to 4, 10, 17, 24, and 31 with ART. We have compared in a clinical trial around about 150 patients, where in the one arm we have given liposomal amphotericin B 40 mg per kg, and in the other arm we have given liposomal amphotericin B 30 mg per kg, 5 injections for 6 days, along with 14 days of miltefosine. And recently this is coming out in CID, clinical infectious diseases. Next one. Now a few slides regarding cutaneous leishmaniasis. This disease is not very common in India. However, a few cases have been reported in Punjab. The old world agents, and this includes Asia and Africa, Leishmania major, Leishmania tropica, Leishmania ethiopica, as well as Leishmania infantum and Leishmania chagasi in the Mediterranean and the Caspian Sea regions. It causes a moist cutaneous ulcer-like lesion at the site of the bite. Lesion starts at the papule that runs an acute course 1 to 3 weeks with early ulceration and surrounding zone of inflammation that usually heals in 2 months to a year, leaving a depressed, unpigmented scar and lasting immunity. So we have got a picture of this. As you can very well see, it is an ulcer, and it is more common in the old world. Next one. With regard to the Americas, the New World cutaneous leishmaniasis, it's a very similar ulcer. The ulcer usually heals spontaneously in a few months, and it is known as the Chiclero ulcer. It can involve the pinna as well. The ear pinna is poorly vascularized and the immune response is weak. And in 40% of the cases, the result is mutilation of the pinna. Found principally in Central America and Mexico. It can occur in the forest-dwelling people who harvest latex from the chicle trees to be used in manufacture of the chewing gum. Next one. So how do we diagnose? Suspected case of CL can be diagnosed by the geographical presence of the parasite, history of sandfly bite, skin lesions, chronic painless clean ulcer, nasopharyngeal lesions, nodular lesions, demonstration of parasite, delayed hypersensitivity skin test, and the serological tests. M. mastigotes from scraping, biopsy, and in vitro culture, pro-mastigotes, and inoculate into hamsters. So the diagnosis is quite tough with regard to the cutaneous leishmaniasis. And with regard to the treatment of cutaneous leishmaniasis may be indicated to decreasing the size of the mucosal lesion disease, accelerate the healing of the skin lesions, decrease the risk of relapse of the skin lesions, decrease the local morbidity caused by large or persistent skin lesions, particularly those on the face or ears or near joints, particularly in females, for the aesthetic value. decrease the reservoir of infection in geographical areas where infected persons serve as host reservoirs, such as in Kabul, Afghanistan, and other Leishmania tropica endemic areas where transmission is anthropootic. Next one. And the treatment is systemic amphotericin B, conventional amphotericin B deoxycholate traditionally, liposomal amphotericin B typically are better tolerated than conventional amphotericin B. When liposomal amphotericin B has been used for treatment of cutaneous leishmaniasis, the dose is 3 mg per kg daily by IV infusion for a total of 6 or more doses, 6 to 10 doses. The other therapy, of course, has come, and this is miltefosine for treatment of cutaneous leishmaniasis in adults and adolescents who are not pregnant or breastfeeding. Treatment is limited to infection caused by 3 particular species, all of which are in the New World species. And the azoles, the ketoconazole, itraconazole, and fluconazole administered orally have been used with mixing results in various settings. Ketoconazole adult regimen is 600 mg daily for 28 days. Itraconazole adult regimen is 200 mg twice daily for 28 days. And fluconazole adult regimen 200 mg daily for 6 weeks. Now, thank you for watching this video. Hope you are now ready for attempting the MCQs. Please assess the MCQs in the assignment section and upload the answers. Thank you and happy learning.